Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Sagittarius for September 2018. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, check out my blog, and if you'd love to learn astrology, definitely check out my Astrology Apprenticeship program. If you've been wanting a live reading with me, but I've been on sabbatical for a really long time from taking on new clients, then you'll be happy to know that I have opened up. I'm not sure for how long, but I am currently accepting new clients for live one-on-one readings. So you can check that out at anniehelpsyou.com. So what's going on in the month of September? We have only 10 amazing aspects and about 5 or 6 ones that we got to watch that could be a little bit more stressful, but an overriding positive, magical month. We have Mars finally awake, and for all the Saggies, I know that will be a really great relief, right? Because we're action oriented. So unless you're one of the people who has Mars retrograde at birth, or for whatever other reason you wake up when everyone else goes to sleep during Mars retrograde, then you will be you'll be happy to know this because you'll be waking up. Now, if you're one of the people that wake up when everyone else is going to sleep, then you'll probably fade back into your normal ambitions. But for my action-oriented fellow Sagittarius friends, Mars going direct is wonderful news because we like to be busy with our physical bodies, we like to be busy with our minds, we like to be doing things, and when Mars is retrograde, it can make us lazy and unproductive and block our progress. And you know I'm saying we, right, because I'm a Sag. We love progress. So this is a time when there's this wonderful opening, the first opening we've had in a while, and the last opening we're going to have until like mid-December, where we've got a little breather from the retrogrades. Okay, so Mars shadow post-transit is still in effect, but it's waking up. Mercury retrograde shadow is past. Venus retrograde shadow starts September 4th, and it gets deeper as we go into the month. But this first week of the month is just kind of this effervescent bubbling up. So I'm calling the theme of this month for Saggies, taking quiet time equals accessing your creative genius, because Saggies tend to be really busy. And you might notice that over previous months, because of the Mars retrograde, maybe you've been more reclusive and you've been wanting to take quiet time. That's not only because Mars has been in retrograde, it's also because most of you, let's see here, well, at least some of you have an additional aspect of Jupiter being in your 12th house. Some Sagittarius don't have it in their 12th house yet. But when we have energy in our 12th house, especially Jupiter, it expands this reclusiveness. But that's part of why I wanted to mention this to you, is because most Sagittarius have not yet experienced this Jupiter in the 12th house from this transit. So this quest for reclusivity, this quest for quiet, this overriding desire to be out in nature even more than usual, you know, wanting to take quiet space, wanting to take time from your busy relationships or the people who you constantly see. This is a theme that has begun, and it is going to continue. And even after these transits pass, there are some valuable things that are coming up now that are themes that Spirit wants to infuse Sagittarius with for a lifetime, okay? And that is this topic of boundaries. Sagittarius are notoriously not the best at setting boundaries. And why is that? Partly because we're mutable signs, we're flexible, we can adapt. You know, that's part of what makes us great travelers. We go somewhere, they do things a certain way. Okay, I could do that. You know, someone comes to us about something, you want to do that? Okay, whatever you want to do. A lot of times people with Sag placements, this is Sag moon, Sag rising, Sag sun, it's all the same. If someone they like comes to them with something they're excited about, before they even know what the person is saying, they say, yes, let's do that. I know myself, I do that all the time. I have to really be cautious with this because we get excited, we feel someone else's excitement, which gets us more excited. We like the person, so we just say yes. And all of these years of saying yes when your body or some element of your being really means no, but you did not take the time to make that decision, can cause physical problems, can cause emotional and mental issues, and can cause spiritual blockages. So this time, this period of time, aspected by certain things going on in the stars, you know, accentuated by certain things going on in the stars, but there's this long-term theme for various reasons, astrologically, of this setting of boundaries. So If you are a person that has health issues, this can help you tremendously. If you are a person who tends to take on too much, which is most of the Sagittarius that I know, then this will help you. And so we want you to do some work around waiting to say yes. The first thing you can do is to wait a little longer to say yes to something, okay? The second thing you can do is tune in to your body, to your intuition before saying yes to something. And you can be honest about it. Many Sagittarius are prolific communicators, and if someone comes to you with something, you can tell them, look, I really like it. I really like you. I want to do this, but I just have this feeling. I'm not sure about that. It's not good for me to proceed. You know, you can phrase it however you want to, but this acknowledging of not saying yes to everything and this acknowledging of taking quiet time so that you can tell the difference between your energy field and other people's energy fields so that you can better listen to all the things that Spirit is telling you, these are going to be very, very, very helpful. And especially if you have anything going on with your health, because a lot of times this overstimulation and this not saying no and then the resentment that comes from saying yes when you really needed to say no can cause lots of intimacy issues and can cause lots of health problems. Okay, so you have a solution now to these things, which is taking the time for yourself. And if you need help doing that, I love EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. You can look it up online. EFT for setting healthy boundaries. It's a tapping procedure where you use the meridians of your body to clear out and tap out belief systems that get stored in those energy superhighways in your being, basically, and it's totally free. You know, of course, there are paid services, you can go in deeper with it, but if you don't have any resources, you can just check this out at no charge. So, all right, that's first on my list. So you're gonna take quiet time, and from this quiet time, this is what can happen. You are going to figure out solutions to problems. You are going to hear Spirit tell you a creative project that you need to do. You're going to have very deep insight into something that you're supposed to be doing that you weren't clear on. So your clarity, your creative genius, your peace, your healing is all going to come from you taking quiet time. Now, this is interesting timing for me to discuss this, right? Because I just said things are waking up. But as things wake up, you need to know this more than ever, because if things have been kind of going slow, then maybe it would have been easier for you to be taking more quiet time. But it's important, even as things get busy, that every day you set that boundary. If you live in a house with other people, close the door. Let other people know unequivocally, when I close my door, it's my private time. And enforce it lovingly, but assertively. This is my time, and claim it. Claim that time. And if you have resistance to it, use tools like EFT or something else to help you clear the resistance that you have to setting the boundaries, because the truth of the matter is that Sagittarius want to help people. That's most of the reasons why they say yes, right? Very altruistic, very helpful, very generous with all of their resources. That's the energy of Sagittarius. So we think that we can help people more by saying yes to them. But the truth of the matter is that most of the time, there is a possibility that we can help someone more by saying no to them, because this tendency to say yes makes Sagittarius great enablers, right? So people who maybe should be figuring out some things for themselves, we take that on for them, that we rob them of that strengthening process, and then we get resentful because we take it on ourselves and we take on too much. Okay, so this is a very big lesson that's being aspected in the current stars and the stars to come. So let's talk about all these goodies. Okay, we've got this amazing Earth trine with Saturn in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus. You've heard me talk about this in the August report because it was happening then too. These planets are locked in this configuration, connected completely to each other from the middle of August to the middle of September. So till around September 14th, they're completely locked together. Then even after September 14th, we'll still feel those effects for some time after that. But the first half of September still, you have this amazing opportunity to ground ideas, thoughts, plans into manifestation. So even though I've told you, you got to look out a little bit for things because of Venus retrograde, this first week of the month is open-ish for getting some things out. Really use your intuition here, because when Jupiter gets into Sagittarius, that's really going to be our time to shine. Okay, so if you're working on something and you're excited to get it out, make sure that it's ready to come out. If it's not ready to come out,
wait until the middle of December and after, when Jupiter's direct, the Venus shadow period has passed, and Jupiter's in Sag. So it's going to be really big for Sagittarius. It's Jupiter in its own sign crossing over all your Sag planets. You know, you don't have to worry about losing out or missing out on anything by not launching in this month. Instead of doing something with it, you could continue working behind the scenes feverishly and let all that creative energy, and there will be a ton of it, fuel working behind the scenes. Sages are very stream of consciousness in the way, okay, so we basically, if we're thinking it, we're saying it. If we have an idea about something, we're doing something with it. Like it's from here to here very fast. We don't have like a filter, we don't have like a delay, you know, that's how it goes. So when you're excited and inspired in this month, just try to remember that you want to make sure to bring the things out in the best stars possible. And it is possible that the first week in September is your best time, but we just want you to really feel into that to make sure. So what's going on? We have Saturn and Uranus helping you to make money from your gifts and your passions. Then we have the energy of Mercury when it comes to make a grand trine. Okay, so this trine that I talked about is active for the whole first half of the month, but on September 7th, we have Mercury coming and making a grand trine. For your early degree placements, that's going to be in the 9th house, middle. For your early and middle degree placements, that grand trine energy is going to be in the 9th house. For your later degree placements, it brings it to the 8th. So let's talk about that. Early and middle degree placements, so the first 20 days of the birthday or the first 19 degrees if you're watching for your rising sign, this is bringing the element of teaching, learning, publishing, education, anything having to do with traveling, long distance, different countries, different cultures, different languages, spiritual things, spiritual, you know, church or unorganized spiritual pursuits. That energy is going to come in there. Now, even for those of you in the late degree placements, your 9th house sector is still beautifully aspected. So what I just listed as the 7th maybe enhancing, September 7th aspect enhancing, you have as well, but not from that transit. Okay, so the energy of everything Saggy, of publishing and teaching and learning and traveling and all that is crazy enhanced this month for everybody. But that particular trine is getting an extra kiss for the early and middle degree placements in the 9th house. And then for the later degree placements, you have the energy of a powerful partnership coming in to enhance you doing things in the world. It could be something like you need help. And Sages also think they can do everything, right? So we know how to do a lot of things. We like to learn things. So we think, okay, we should be doing all of it, right? But that's not the case. If we want to expand, in a lot of cases, we're going to have to delegate. So if you're delegating, there's a very strong possibility that a person who you really need can come in. Like, let's say you want to publish books, but you don't know how to format them, or there's some aspect of publishing that you just can't figure out. Maybe that perfect publishing person can come in. If you're trying to teach something or you're trying to learn something, if there's a craft or a skill that you want to learn, the perfect person could come in for you. Or you could commit to an education program or something like that at that point. So lots of amazing energy for bringing your dreams into reality. Then we've got this Jupiter-Pluto aspect. That's happening on the 12th, but it's very strong from the 7th through the 13th of September. And it's, again, bringing this energy for everybody of this powerful partnership helping you with your individual business goals. So this is a time very much for Sages where you're looking for the people who can fill in the gaps to help you get to where you need to be while also empowering them. So just take that theme with you for now and in, deep into the future. But lots of money and financial security and stability can come from the types of things that are happening in this month. So it could lock some financial things into place for you, or it could plant seeds that could lock finances, good finances in place in the future. Now, one thing to note about that is you can't experience anything you're not a vibrational match for. I've talked about this before. I'm always going to talk about this, and I get this question a lot. Someone will say, astrologers are talking about all these great aspects or transits and I'm not getting anything good happening. Why? You might be tempted to say astrology is wrong or the astrologer is wrong. Probably neither of those are true. What's really true is that we cannot have anything we're not a vibrational match for. We live in a holographic reality. Whatever's inside is a powerful attractor for things outside, and what we have inside reflects outside. So if we have a belief system that we're not good enough, or we have to work hard for money, or that we can't do what we love and make money, or whatever, nonsense that was programmed into us, usually from someone who had it programmed into them, right? Our parents or whoever else, they didn't know any better. They had these things imprinted onto them, and crap rolls downhill, right? So whoever's at the bottom of the crap pile gets all of it. That's the kid, right? The kid gets all of this ancestral crap that rolls onto them, and then they have to deal with everything. So, but we have empowerment in the way of perspective that helps us understand that we can clear these things up for us and everybody else. Our ancestry, we can make healing genetically. And I actually believe, I can't prove this, but I'm sure that there are studies that are on the verge or are already doing this, that we are changing our DNA with our inner work. I really believe that. I really believe that genes can express differently when you take the time to integrate things that have been family issues. So you can see familial patterns and karmic patterns in the charts of families, of related family members coming down the bloodline. So if somebody's working on an issue, they can heal it forwards and backwards for their kids and back to their parents, even if their parents aren't present anymore for them. So I know that's deep stuff, but that's what I really believe, and that's why I focus on this inner work. So you have a chance to improve your finances and have financial security, but if it's not happening for you, it might mean you have to take some action steps deliberately on the inner work. So of course, as usual, I love Margaret Lynch's work. You can look up Margaret Lynch on YouTube. She's got lots of free videos. She also has an amazing book called Tapping into Wealth. So if you're looking to improve your finances, I highly recommend you get and use that book. Okay, so now let's talk about the many beautiful aspects that I have not listed yet, the days they're going to occur, and plus the couple of dicey aspects that you really need to know about. And so we're going to go into all that now. So the theme of the month for all signs for September 2018 is major movement and momentum. We've been waiting for a long time for Mars to wake up from its slumber from retrograde. Most people will have been affected from the Mars retrograde as feeling lazy, unambitious, trying to do things that aren't working out, getting super frustrated. And so for those people, things are going to change now. And either it's going to be like a light switches on and your energy levels, your enthusiasm, your ambitions just wake up, or it will be like a slow tingling awakening of coming back to life of your ambitions, your goals, and your motivations to reach goals, and to do anything really. For the percentage of you, the smaller percentage of you who experience Mars retrograde with the opposite, in many cases, people who have Mars retrograde at birth will experience the opposite. So for them, Mars retrograde is their most productive time. So every 2 years, they have a cycle of, 4 or so months where they wake up, they get all this stuff done. So for y'all, you're going to be going back to sleep, but maybe you will have learned some lessons about how to best use your energy and bring some of that productivity into your daily experience afterwards, after the transit. So we have Mercury retrograde pretty much clear now at the beginning of the month. We have Mars just starting to wake up, taking until October 10th to regain full strength. And we have Venus getting ready to go into retrograde. So that's not going to happen until October 5th. But the shadow period starts September 4th. And the shadow period is just as important to note as the retrograde. Occasionally I'll have someone ask, why are you talking about this when it's not happening yet? And my very simple, very powerful, very accurate answer is, it is actually happening. And that's why I have to talk about it. Not everybody wants to deal with this. Most people don't want to mention it and just wait until it's actually retrograde. But you are going to be having these things come up that are true to the transit well before the transit occurs. And that's one of my overriding messages I hope that you see from the work that I'm doing, is to let you be aware that things are not happening just when they, quote, happen. There's an orb of energy before and after aspects where we're feeling them. It's kind of like when you're driving out west from the east. I do this trip across the country back and forth very often. And I always notice, right, when the the eastern kind of trees and density of population start to dissipate. You start to see some, desert plants come in, and you start to see more of a sparsity of trees and a change in the kind of trees. And then you might see some mountains in the distance, and you feel the dry air. And so the desert has come to you, but you're still kind of in the space where it's not quite there yet. But you feel it, and it's happening, and it's relevant, and you're having manifestations from it, but you're not quite in the desert yet. Okay, that's how this shadow period is. It starts to smell like this, the stories that are going to come up, the typical feelings, emotions, topics start coming in. And what are those topics? They have to do with love, beauty, and money. So everybody wants to know about Venus retrograde because these are the big things that people talk about. I have done a very comprehensive job on trying to prepare you for Venus retrogrades. I have a video called Venus Retrograde Do's and Don'ts. I highly recommend that you watch this video because I am not going to do Venus retrograde justice in this video, or even in the months that in October and November when Venus is actually retrograde. We'll be talking about this between now and December, but there's nothing that I have and nothing that I know of available, even on the internet, that is as comprehensive as this video that I've made for you about Venus retrograde. So you definitely want to search for Annie Venus retrograde. I go into so much detail, and you will be very educated about this transit and understand how to best use it. Okay, but in any case, the basic things that go on are, you are not seeing clearly in love, beauty, and money. Not the best time for doing any augmentation to your body, tattoos, implants, adjustments, procedures. Venus retrograde energy is not the best for that. Making big decisions in love, you're not seeing clearly. It's best to evaluate things and work in the backdrop. Money decisions, not the best time to make big money decisions in general. And things from the past that are issues will likely come back up, for better and worse. But blessings from the past can also come back. So like, let's say you're a person who teaches a certain class, and you have to, it's the time to cycle to enroll for this class again. That's okay, because it's a class you've been teaching. And in that case, people from the past may come and you might have a very prosperous showing in your class. But this is something you've been doing. It's not brand new. It's not a new launch. It's kind of just leaning towards the past involving money. Okay, so those things tend to do really well. Going back to old clients, previous business ideas, working on them more, anything that's worked for you in the past, doing those things again versus new things are going to be the tagline of September through half of December. Anything involving love, you may have love that comes back from the past. Okay, so yes, issues can come up and will come up from the past. If you have something unresolved in your love life, it's very likely that Venus is going to bring that up in a big way. But you can also have beautiful things from the past. Like, let's say you've been with your partner a long time and you had traditions and things that you did that were awesome and you loved them and you missed them. Venus retrograde can bring them back into your life. It can bring the spark back into your love. For people who are separated from their love, if for any reason, maybe it's a military situation where somebody's abroad working, or any other international work, or even local work. If you have a partner who travels for work or who has been away, Venus retrograde can bring them back and you can see them, So it's very beautiful, and there are many, many wonderful things that can come in. It's just important to remember, not the best time for launches, doing new things, making big moves, making big decisions, if you can help it, because you're not seeing clearly and you don't have the gusto of Venus going direct. It's leaning towards the past. Okay, now it can also bring love back into your life from the past. So somebody that you dated in the past, or a love interest, or someone who you were interested in the past could come back in. And in those cases, it's open for evaluation. Just try to not make any big decisions from what you're evaluating. Okay, so besides Venus retrograde and talking about all this retrograde stuff, we've got a massive amount of this beautiful energy of positive aspects, especially with outer planets. And I've gone into detail about those in the individual reports. But I want to just re-mention this, that for the first half of September, we are locked in this trine with Saturn and Capricorn and Uranus and Taurus. This can bring major manifestation, major things coming from the ethers into form and grounding and material support in wonderful ways. We also have a beautiful aspect with Jupiter and Pluto. This is a sextile between Pluto and Jupiter, and it's occurring in, you know, for an extended period of time again, you know, from like the 7th through the 13th, we can feel this really strongly. So beautiful blessings, especially near 18 degrees. That earth trine, any earth or water placements that you have near 2 degrees will be further enhanced. For the Jupiter-Pluto aspect, water and earth aspects that or planets that you have near 18 degrees will be further enhanced. And I usually go 5 degrees in any direction. So, you know, 13 degrees through 23 degrees for the Jupiter-Pluto aspect, and then like 0 to 7 degrees for the earth aspect. So if you have earth or water placements in any of those configurations, then this could be an amazing time for you. And even if you don't, you're the ones that just get the extra blessing. Everybody has the chance to benefit from these beautiful aspects. So it's super exciting. Overall this month, we've got about 10 awesome, amazing, harmonious expressions. The dates that those occur, so let's see, I'm going to start to give you some dates here, but I want to give you a couple of caveats. One thing to know is that we can sometimes and very often feel the manifestations of a planetary configuration before or after. So I'll give you the dates, but you can feel them before or after, okay? That's the first thing to know. The second thing to know is that if you want a detailed play-by-play of what aspect is occurring on what day and what you can expect from it, then sign up for my free email newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. At anniehelpsyou.com, you can get this free newsletter. I do a write-up that does a summary of the month, what you can expect, important details, and lots of additional details that I can't get into in the videos where we talk about what is happening on what day and what you can expect. Okay, but I am going to hit some of the highlights here. So these are the days to look out for sweet vibes, okay? But remember, you can feel them before or after these days. So the 3rd, the 6th, the 7th, the 9th, the 11th, the 12th, the 15th, the 16th, the 20th, the 23rd, and the 24th, and the 27th. Look out for stress, challenges, and overstimulation in the days around September 7th, 8th, 12th, 13th, 18th, 20th, 23rd, and 24th. So now I'm going to just hit a couple of the highlights here. I'm not going to go into all of them. You have to see the written report for that. But we've got some sweetness at the beginning of the month with a beautiful aspect with Venus and Mercury. I love this for all things. September 3rd is an amazing day for pretty much anything, okay? And this is because the Mercury shadow period, post-shadow period has passed. Mars has been direct for a little bit, is regaining steam, and Venus shadow period has not begun yet. So September 3rd, if you've got to do something important, I love September 3rd for this. I also love the days around it because they're mostly amazing aspects. But there is one aspect within that first week, actually 2 aspects like in the first 7-8 days on September 7th and 8th to look out for. But those days up, really the first week is just amazing for anything. So if you have to do anything important in love and beauty and money, like if you want to do your, you know, any kind of physical things, aesthetics to your house, design projects, not on your body, but in your home, in your office, art projects, art, you know, things bringing anything artistic out, anything really. This first week of September is the week that has the best open energy, free from the retrogrades, that we've had for a long time and that we're going to have for a long time. You're not going to get a freedom from the retrograde energies like this week until mid-December. Okay, so if you've got to do something important, if you have a launch that can't wait until December, you've got to bring something out, do it in this first week. This is amazing energy. Okay, we've got Mercury and Venus in a beautiful aspect. Saturn going direct can bring manifestations out into the world. We've got this trine with Saturn and Uranus. The Earth trine that's been in effect since the middle of August will still be in effect through the middle of September. It's in this exact configuration for a month. And then on September 7th, Mercury comes in and makes that trine with Uranus and Saturn a grand Earth trine. So everyone has the potential to be blessed from these transits and do stuff with them, but especially people with anywhere from 0 to 7 degrees of earth or water placements in your chart. Placements in your chart can go well beyond your sun sign, you know? So here, those of you who have some working knowledge of your chart, this is going to benefit you to know this, okay? If you've got anything near 2 degrees in earth and water, this is going to energize whatever placements you have there and be even bigger and bring things to you in a bigger way. As I talk about bringing things to you in a bigger way, do note, I get this question very often. It goes something like this: Annie, and sometimes it's nicely worded and sometimes it's not nicely worded. And gosh, I wish they would all be nicely worded. But in any case, different versions of this. I'm not having the benefits that you or other astrologers are talking about as potentials from the stars, okay? So why? Why are they not having that? The reason is because if you're not a vibrational match for the things that are present as potentials, then you're not going to experience them, period. That is a law of the universe. Astrology can't get around that. Nothing can get around that. If you have a story, a program, a vibration inside of you, doesn't have to be conscious, can be unconscious, can be ancestral, can be genetic, can be whatever. If you have a storyline that's in your energy field that is different from the one that this beautiful aspect wants to create for you, you're not going to have it created for you. And that doesn't mean that the astrologer is wrong, and it doesn't mean that astrology is wrong. It means that you're not a vibrational match for the potentials that are sitting here. It's like I always say, if you have the ingredients to make a juicy peach pie on your counter, and you come out looking for the peach pie, and you're like, where's the peach pie? Someone's going to ask you, did you make the peach pie with the ingredients on the counter, or are they still there as ingredients? So this is your call from the universe to take an active role in your destiny. And if you see that there are inconsistencies with the potentials that are sitting before you, that you feel, that you see, that you hear about, and they're not manifesting, you have to look inside. Some tools I love for working inside: EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. This is a form of meridian clearing that clears your energy field, clears belief systems. You can find things totally free online. You don't have to have any money. You can be in the worst situation in your life and not be able to put any resources into this and still access it, okay? So look up EFT. I love the Presence Process by Michael Brown, one of my favorite tools. I love the Marriage of Spirit, the exercises in Section 2 by Leslie Temple Thurston. These things are just like blockbuster self-development tools that can help you to be a vibrational match for the things that you want and these beautiful potentials that we're sitting here in front of. Okay, so now that I've said my piece about that, so once we get out of this first 7 days, and even at the end of the 7 days, we've got the sun opposing Neptune, okay? This is our first aspect that's a little bit, iffy. It brings this question of confusion, unclarity, miscommunication, deception, security breaches. So if you're feeling insecure or weird, regardless of all these potentials around, you have to honor that. We never know when we're going to have a pocket of a manifestation from a challenging aspect, even dancing in between all these beautiful aspects. Okay, so, feel your way through it. On September 8th, we've got a clash with Venus and Mars. That's going to bring some challenges and stress. On September 9th, we've got this beautiful new moon with 2 beautiful outer planet aspects that are positive affecting it. But we also have Neptune giving this same kind of message: guard your personal data and possessions. If things are seem too good to be true, they may be. Anything that you're not certain about or you're confused about, you need to take more time around. But in general, this new moon at 17 degrees of Virgo is awesome. We've got beautiful positive boosts by Pluto and Jupiter, and it's time to make your new moon wishes on anything involving Virgo. So health, diet, healing work, whether you're doing the work or receiving the work or would like to be doing the work, medical tests, exams, or procedures, anything with animals or pets or workplace issues or goals. September 11th and 12th, we've got another set of amazing aspects: enhanced discernment, positive outcomes from having an analytical eye. So you can see, this chance for confusion and uncertainty is present at the same time as these enhanced mental powers are present. So you might feel that at one point on one day, and then someone else might feel it. These are rolling energies. It's kind of like, what it's like when you're in the water, right? Let's say you're in the ocean, and there's like a pocket of cold water, right? You're like, oh, cold. How did that happen? I just wandered into a pocket of cold water, but then but your knee, the bottom of your leg is in this warmer pocket, right? So that's happening. And then you're like, oh, better go over there into the warm pocket, right? So that's what these transits are like. They're happening at the same time. They're influencing. Their chance to manifest is occurring simultaneously. So you need to use your intuition to feel out like, I'm feeling good today, and I know these aspects are good, and I'm feeling them, so I'm going to do important things. But then if you're like, well, everyone's saying this is really good, but I feel like crap and I don't feel sure, then don't do anything. You know, you've got to wait and follow your personal flow. Astrology is nothing unless it is helping you to enhance your own connection to yourself and to spirit and to the all that is. All right, so then we start getting a little dicey here in the middle of the month, September 12th, 13th. We've got a little rough patch. This can bring surprises in money and love. This can bring unpleasant jolts, or this can just bring overstimulation. Maybe money stuff is going great. It's going to bring up the polarity of me and we. So you versus other people, people close to you, entities that you're working with. But while this is all going on, we do have that beautiful Jupiter-Pluto aspect that can supersede and bring protection and benevolence even through these challenges. All right, so that September 13th, you got to look out again. If you're not sure about things, deception, uncertainty, security breaches can be more likely. Then on the 15th and the 16th, we've got more sweetness. You know, there's like at least 10 beautiful aspects this month and close to half of that of challenging ones. Okay, so even though there are some things to look out for, there's definitely more awesomeness than there are stress factors. Also towards like the second week of the month is a big time for that eclipse, for more eclipse news to come in when we're like a month after the August 11th eclipse, so around September 11th. That sometimes is a time when major eclipse news or continuation of a story that's already started can come up. So Mercury doing awesome things on the 15th and 16th. But at the same time, Mars and Uranus are going to make a bad aspect. Yes, I'm calling it bad. Yes, you can use it for good. Squares can always be encouragers to do something, to break through something. So in that way, it could be good. But Mars and Uranus getting together in a challenging situation, these are one of the aspects that I put a red flag up for, okay? If you've watched me for a while, or maybe you can tell already, I'm super positive. I have a very optimistic viewpoint. The art of astrology, there's a science of astrology, okay? But there's an art of astrology. It's in the eye of the beholder, the reader. So I look at everything like, how are we gonna make this awesome? But at the same time, if there's something dicey, I will tell you, okay? And this is one of those things. September 18th, watch out for your body. Watch out for pissing people off. Do not antagonize a crazy person. Do not antagonize anybody. Go easy on exercise. You know, go easy on important conversations. Try to not plan anything important, especially with somebody that pushes your buttons. And if you can avoid people that push your buttons around this time, that would be better. I've seen Mars aspects sometimes show up as soon as 5 days before, you know, and quite a few days after. So remember that about these aspects. You can feel them before or after. And this is occurring at the same time that a lot of sweetness is occurring. So you've got to just, you know, remember what I said about being in the water in the warm and cold patches. You have to, when you're in a really warm, comfy patch, then do some stuff. If it's a little bit dicey, then maybe hold off. And since Venus is going into retrograde and it's getting closer to the shadow period, by this time, your discernment might be off a little bit. It might make more sense to wait before you do something important. September 20th can be great for enhancing mental powers, but it can also bring a lot of criticism. So the 20th, the 21st, and the 23rd, we've got some challenging aspects, 2 of them with Mercury. Okay, so these are energies that can bring up old wounds. These can bring news about a physical malady. It can be something, you know, negativity or criticism could come to you now. It could be anything having to do with like somebody, a force coming in, not being nice, you know, just basically general negativity and criticism. But then on the 23rd, we've got this little boost with Mercury and Mars. So this brings the opportunity for amazing conversations and amazing social contacts. and can bring great mental power. The full moon at 2 degrees of Aries on September 24th is boosted with sweetness by a trine with Jupiter and a sextile with Mars. At the same time, it can have additional intensity from a square with Saturn and then a Chiron conjunction. So whenever Saturn is involved, usually criticism or pressure is involved. Okay, and then whenever Chiron's involved, especially in a challenging aspect, it can bring this victim tyrant mentality or polarity. Okay, so you could feel like somebody is doing something to you, or someone could be accusing you of being a bully or a tyrant, which you may or may not be, but this topic is what's brought up. So fullness, completion, fruition, drama can come to anything in the area of Aries, especially your physical body, especially the head or brain or anything having to do with your circulation or your neurological system. It can have something to do with fruition about recognition, so coming out into the light, your image, your individuality, pioneering efforts, daring goals, you know, anything that has to do with Aries. We end off the month, September 27th, with a beautiful aspect with the Sun and Mars. So this is great for confidence and enthusiasm. Do remember that even though it can bring positive use of assertiveness and great for attracting or expressing positive masculine traits or energies, we're getting super close to Venus retrograde now. Okay, so just be really careful with the decisions you make and don't let your enthusiasm make you take on something too soon. All right, this is like this process of following retrogrades is like watching the ripening of fruit. You know, it makes me think I have a grapevine and, you know, you feel the grapes, right? And they're edible. You get to where they're edible and you might be excited to eat them. But you know, if you wait like 1 or 2 more sunny days, that grape is going to be bursting with so much extra sweetness and juiciness. That is what I want you to hold with you for this, this energy of the retrogrades. And you'll hear me mentioning this a lot because I really want to get it imprinted into you to associate the retrogrades with this. If you're excited to bring something out, but things aren't quite working out and you're not completely sure, maybe it's better to work on it in the backdrop until December. December, mid-December, the end of December is going to be an amazing time in the cosmos. So many wonderful things going on and beautiful energy around bringing things out into the world. So just kind of tune in and make sure that the things that you were thinking about doing are really ready to be plucked off of the vine. So if you are interested in learning astrology, I would love to see you in my astrology apprenticeship program. I don't know for how long, but I will be off sabbatical. I have been on a long sabbatical of not taking individual clients for live readings, but I have some openings now. So if you've been wanting to work with me, then you have your chance. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com. You can sign up for my free email newsletter there, get your monthly write-ups, get all kinds of other goodies. And you can see more about working with me in various capacities on my website. If you'd like a written horoscope from me, then go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. And you'll also see my lifestyle blogs there. If you're a traveler, go to Astrology Kissed Travel Bliss. That is where I write my monthly astrology travel reports. So astrology reports just for the traveler, extra things that we might not talk about in the general report or the sign reports. And definitely check out my husband's website, IamHelios.com. My husband, B.R. Newman, is an amazing phenom of creativity. He's amazing with tarot. He teaches tarot. If you've wanted to learn tarot, definitely check out his tarot course. And he puts together these vibrational masterpieces to help you attune to the stars and to bring the positive aspects out of expression and to work with the challenging ones. So check out his database of audio assistance at IamHelios.com. So I hope you have a wonderful month and I'll see you next month. Bye.